Hello, everyone. How are you? I'm doing well myself, and I hope you're doing well as well. So, I know we've been doing a lot of sign language classes. We're almost done. There might be two more, might be one more. But for right now, we got to get to something that happened last week. This should have been sent out to everyone, and I'm not sure. Let's see, it got sent out March 18th. So, last week. Was that last week? Yes. Last Friday. So, I wanted to go over this. It's from John Bolle, who is the executive director when it comes to Vistability and our programs. So, there's always a hierarchy as you go up. But I want to make sure, that we're always on the same page. So anytime something like this comes out, I relay it to you all because I do think that it's best. And this way, you can always ask me any questions. If you have any comments, if you have suggestions, or if you're just wondering just generally what's going on, or any, that you have concerns about, this way you can let me know. And I can kind of pass that down because I have asked numerous times about different things that you all have brought up that I want to know about as well, but I haven't heard an answer, or, it's good for us to ask these questions. And I do want to just let you know, kind of reinforce the idea that there are a lot of people that are on our side that really want things to get back to normal. We have to do it the right way. So, because a lot of the questions that we have asked, we got a letter from Mr. Bolle, and we can go over that, and I'm going to go over it. And then, of course, like I said, please ask questions. Because I know we all want to get back. I know we do. I'm excited to. So, like I said, this was March 18th, so this was last Friday. Didn't want to let it get too far gone before I mention it to all of you. So, dear friends, families, and staff of Vistability, over the past 2 months, we have seen a dramatic decline in the number of COVID-19 cases. Yay! And public health officials have moved quickly to begin reducing the pandemic-related safety regulations that have affected our lives over these past 2 years. Don't get too excited yet, though. This is encouraging news. That's very true. And I'm hopeful that the pandemic is winding down and we can get back to normal. For many people, the relaxed rules are welcomed, but there are others that question if it is too soon to take such steps. Looking at Europe right now, I know there's some people that have been very diligent on letting me know what's going on around the world, and not staff-wise, but a lot of the individuals that are programmed are very diligent, and I thank you all for being that diligent. That, there's, I think, a Delta Omicron variant that's like kind of a combination of the two. But with everything that we've done, as long as we've been vaccinated and boosted, things are good. Or it's safer for you, have you taken those steps. So my goal with this letter is not to settle the debate, rather to better inform you of the process for implementing changes to our agency safety protocols. So throughout the pandemic, we have remained committed to adhering to the guidance and regulations put forth by various government agencies, such as public health, community care licensing, Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA, and the Department of Developmental Services, the DDS. We have heard from many people expressing their opinions about our practices along the way. Some in support, some in discontent. Basically, some agree, some very much disagree. Regardless of where people stand on this, I think we can all agree that not complying with regulations that govern our services poses a safety risk and hefty financial penalties, fines to our agency if they are not followed. To avoid such risks, we consistently comply with regulatory agencies which have guided our decisions during the pandemic and will continue to in the future. So it says, any vendor of the regional center of the East Bay or RCEB, which we are, is considered a healthcare facility. One second. Something's great. Give me a second to get rid of it, though. Okay, no more Dr. Pepper for me. So we are considered a healthcare facility. This is because our state receives federal CMS, or Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, funds to pay for regional center services and to serve what is considered vulnerable populations. For that reasons, the regulations that we continue to operate under have not relaxed, are aligned with healthcare facilities, and are more stringent than those imposed onto the general public. So, a recent example of the diverging regulations involves transportation for non-licensed programs. Now, and I will follow up with this tomorrow with another one, but some of our programs are non-licensed. That means there's either not enough people to license the facility. I mean, they're still governed by the RCEB, but they're not licensed. Inroads, us, where we are licensed. So, a recent example of the diverging regulations involves transportation for non-licensed programs. We no longer have to maintain 6-foot physical distance in our vehicles. We still need to wear masks and sanitize frequently. However, community care licensing is still requiring 6-foot distancing in our vehicles used by a licensed program, which does include us, like I said, because we're licensed. While this seems inequitable, we must abide by the current regulatory mandates that pertain to our various services. So, it's not a bad thing. It's just that we have a lot of people in our program. And it's important that we make sure that all of them are safe. And so in order for everybody to be safe, we need to, like they said, we just need to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing with that many people. You know, it's like, well, say a long time ago, I worked at the Boys and Girls Club. And there was a time that I took the kids out, and we were short-staffed, and I was like, hey, guess what? You know what? I had 30 kids in the class, but they all wanted to go outside, and I was like, okay, so I'll go outside. We can all be safe. And so we went outside. I was watching everybody. It was me, but it was 30 kids. That's a huge ratio, 1 to 30. And I made the mistake of saying we should go outside when it's that ratio. Inside, you can really watch people. Outside, it's tough because kids are running around, all that good stuff. Now, one of the kids fell down and got hurt, not too badly. But again, that was DJ's safety policy mistake. I should have not done that. And the kid, I mean, they scraped themselves a little bit. But it was a mistake because you can't really keep an eye. And so these rules and regulations are set forth because that's a huge ratio. And we have a huge ratio to staff and everyone else that participates in our program. So we have to make sure that everybody's as safe as possible. Now, if it's much smaller and the ratios are much smaller, it's a lot easier. When the ratios get very large, it becomes more difficult. Okay, back to Mr. Bolle. As you know, there have been dramatic changes in mask policies from governments, schools, and private businesses. However, as noted above, these changes have yet to apply to our services, and there are tremendous risks to the agency for choosing to ignore government regulations. So our COVID-19 task force has done an outstanding job at monitoring the ever-changing pandemic regulations and keeping our agency's COVID-19 safety and mitigation plan up to date. They will continue to diligently monitor communication from the various regulators. Well, this is all a lot of language, and adjust our protocols when regulatory changes have deemed it safe and appropriate for us to do so. Long story short, with that, we're being watched by other agencies. Which, checks and balances. You gotta make sure everything's balanced and checked on, and that continues to be the case. Once the numbers are really at a point where we can all feel safe, the licensed facilities will be able to open up again, which is us. So they would continue to diligently monitor communication from the... Oh, wait, I went over this. So it is safe to assume that if we are requiring a particular safety measure, such as wearing masks, and there's regulation or guidance that we are continuing to follow. At the same time, when a regulation no longer seems to be effective or necessary, please be assured that I am actively lobbying for changes in Sacramento that make sense. Which we've all gone, well, most of us have gone to Sacramento. And so, when it makes sense, the masks will come off. We'll be able to get back to more people in the vans and really start to open up again. So, he goes on to say, I truly appreciate your patience and understanding. As we continue to navigate our way through this challenging time, we'll have the same goal in mind, to get back to full-time, in-person services. Dankeschön. German. Thank you very much, Mr. Bolle. So, that's where we're at now. Now, there's more information that I will relay to you mañana. But until then, I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Oh, not weekend, sorry. A fantastic day. And I'll see you when I see you.